Hello, hello. I hope everyone can hear me well and see me well. How are you all? Happy Monday. Okay, it's Monday here in Brisbane. Don't know what day it is where you are. Okay, but I'd like to say welcome everyone to another 7 in Writing with Fabi. Okay, and where we discuss strategies that will help you get the 7 in the writing part of the IELTS test. Okay, and here we talk about lots of different things. Sometimes we focus on English, sometimes we focus on the test, and we talk about lots and lots of different things. Okay, my name is Fabi. For those of you who don't know me, I'm an English teacher. I live in Brisbane, Australia, and I teach at English colleges and universities here. And of course, I help a lot of people get the 7, the writing part of the IELTS test. Okay, and I don't know if you guys noticed, okay, if you saw the schedule of this broadcast. And one of the things that I get asked all the time, I'm not kidding, this happens at least once a month, is people get in touch with me and telling me, Fabi, I'm doing the IELTS next week. What do I do? Sometimes they are asking for my help, but sometimes they just want to actually know what to do, right? And honestly, I don't feel that a week is a lot of time to prepare for any kind of exam, honestly. Okay, but there are people who just don't have the time. Okay, and sometimes you're told maybe a week before you actually need to do the test, so that can be a bit of a problem. Okay, so today I'm going to share with you what I think you should be doing if you have only 1 week, okay? All right, okay. So before I start, what I'd like to tell you is that to me, okay, when it comes to most people, 1 week might not be enough to prepare and get a 7. Okay, I just have to be honest with you. But of course, guys, people are different, okay? And each people, they might be in a different stage of their IELTS journey. Okay, so depending on where you are in your IELTS journey, okay, 1 week might be enough for you. 1 week might not be enough for you. Okay, so what I'm going to share today with you, it's basically what anyone could do, okay, to help you with the test, okay? And it doesn't matter if you've been studying for 6 months, for a year, okay? So I'm just gonna share with you today what anyone should be doing, everyone should be doing, all right? Okay, so there are cases where people hear about the IELTS test 1 week before they have to do it, okay? In my case, I heard that I had to do it, and then I did a week after. But in my case, it wasn't that bad because I had been teaching IELTS, okay? But I was only teaching the listening part, so I didn't know how the rest of the test would work. However, I had a lot of people to help me. I was teaching English at a language school here in Brisbane, so I had a lot of people help me. So that was pretty good, but I had a week to prepare, okay? But again, I'm going to tell you what I did, okay, guys, and what I think everyone should be doing, which is to practice. Okay, guys, so again, it doesn't matter if you're a native speaker, if you're not a native speaker, I think that everyone should be practicing the exam before they do it, okay? And the reason I say that is because if you don't practice, basically you have lots of surprises, okay? And why you don't want a surprise during an exam? First, okay, when you do an exam, you are under time pressure. Okay, so if you're under time pressure, you really, really don't want to be spending time on things. And if you don't know what's coming, if you don't know what the test is like, you are really, really likely to be spending time understanding what you have to do. And then you are going to waste time. Okay, so I do think that it doesn't matter where you're at in your journey, in your IELTS journey, you should be practicing the exam, okay? And the reason I say that is actually because there are different things on the test, okay? So if you think about the reading part, for example, right? There are, if you're gonna do, either if you're gonna do general or academic, there are 3 parts. And each part will have a different text. Okay, you know that. But then what about the types of questions that you have? Okay, if you don't know that type of question, or most types of questions that you can get during the exam, one thing that will happen is you get stuck, you keep looking at it, and you will not know what to do. Okay, so that's the main thing about practice. Okay, so if you have a week, a month, 6 months, doesn't matter. You have to practice. Okay, for example, when it comes to the listening part of the test. Okay, the listening tends to be the easiest part for most people. But if you don't know that, for example, in part 4, you don't have that break in the middle, you might get a lower score just because of that. Okay, so preparing for the exam is extremely important. Okay, but when it comes to listening and reading, this can be quite simple, right? Because they are what we call receptive skills. So these are the things that you read and you do, and you can check your own answers, right? However, when it comes to the other parts, speaking and writing, okay, it's a great idea to get someone to help you. I know that can be quite hard if you only have 1 week, but that is quite helpful too. Okay, but let's say that you have 1 week to do the test and you have no one to help you. Okay, one thing you can do is get some materials. Okay, guys, so always get IELTS materials. I've shared with you already my favorite ones. They are the Cambridge books, because I think they are quite authentic. Okay, and the reason I think they are authentic is because I use them to practice with my students. And when my students go do the real test, they get the same score they were getting with practice. They say that the test is the same as the practice I send them. And funnily enough, they also have told me that they have seen some tests that we did together on the real test. So that's how I know these are very, very good materials, okay? So yeah, when it comes to those tests, guys, and when it comes to listening and to speaking, and also when it comes to writing, okay, check the types of tests, okay? So for example, when it comes to the writing test, there are 2 parts for the writing test, okay? Task 1 and task 2. If you're going to do general, the first one is a letter. So you know that in the first one you have to write a letter, and the second one it's the essay. Okay, because if you're not prepared for that, you might write 2 essays, or you might even write 2 letters. Okay, and then when it comes to the academic one, all right, you will have something related to a report. So you have to analyze charts, a map, those kinds of things. Okay, describe a picture maybe. Okay, so you have to do those kinds of things, and then you're gonna have to do the essay. Okay, so guys, if you don't have much time, okay, this is something that you have to do if you want to get a good score. Okay, because as I said before, imagine you're going to do it next week and you don't even know where to start in the writing, let's say. Okay, so what should you do? Just grab a writing. There's heaps of stuff online, okay, but I suggest you get a proper book. Okay, because some of the stuff online can either be too easy or too difficult and not really authentic. So that's what I think you should do, okay? And then look at it, and then you are more prepared, and there will be no surprises. You don't want to have surprises on the day of the test, okay? And another thing for the speaking, okay? Just knowing that the speaking has 3 parts. So the speaking part of the IELTS test, it has 3 parts. The first one is a simple part, simple questions. The second one, okay, most people struggle with it because this part's a little bit unusual. The examiner will give you 1 minute to prepare. And then you look at some things, you have some ideas there that you can use, and then The examiner will give you 1 minute to prepare, and then you talk for 2 minutes. Okay, let's say that you are not sure how that works, and the examiner will explain it to you, and you'll be like, maybe you'll be waiting for questions. And then I've had students who got a bit confused, and they were waiting for the examiner to ask questions when they should actually be planning what they're going to say. Okay, so if you know that, okay, guys, if you just have a look at it, prepare, you will get a higher score. Okay, and then the last part of the speaking is definitely the one that where they will ask you questions that are quite abstract and a little bit more difficult, but related to part 2. Okay, so just imagine this, guys. So if you are aware, okay, of what the test is like, if you have practiced a little bit, okay, that is the main thing, I think. If you're going to do the IELTS soon, make sure you know how the test works. Practice, okay, because you want to avoid surprises on the day of the test. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, and if you grab hold of the materials and everything, I suggest you do it under exam conditions. Okay. So whatever the instructions are, yeah, and pay attention to the instructions because they're the same on the day of the test, right? So if you know what you have to do, then you save time. Okay. Because a lot of people, they don't struggle with the test itself. They struggle with the time pressure. So whatever you can do to save time, it's extremely helpful. All right. Okay. And what else? Okay. Yeah. So to me, it doesn't matter. Okay, guys, if you're going to do the test next week, next month, okay, practicing is the main thing you should do. Okay, preparing yourself, because I have seen people with really good English who did not get a good score just because they didn't know how the test works. Okay, even when I help my students, okay, the first time you do the test, you don't get a really good score, and you don't want the first time you're doing the IELTS exam to be there, the real one, okay, and you're spending so much money and then you don't get a good score, okay. So my main advice to anyone and everyone is to practice, okay. When it comes to listening and reading, you can practice by yourself, okay, and you can check your scores. Of course, if you have the support of other people, you can get more advice, okay, on how to do some specific parts of the test. But when it comes to the productive skills, which are speaking and writing, then you might need the help of a professional, okay, just to make sure you're on the right track. Because sometimes we're doing something and then we look at it and you're like, oh, maybe I'm doing it. You think you're doing it, but you're not really, okay? And that will lower your score, definitely. And we all want to get a really high score on the IELTS test. And most importantly, we all want to do it once, right? That's what I keep trying to get my students to do, the IELTS only once, and that is it. Okay, does anyone have any questions for me today? No questions? I didn't get any questions on my DM today. All right, yeah, guys. So I think that the bottom line of this topic here, okay, if you need to do the IELTS next week, what should you be doing? You should be practicing, okay? Just practice, okay? Just check what the test is like. All right, okay? Because if you do have some time to go ahead and practice a little bit more, okay, then you are able to see your weaknesses and you can focus on that. But just knowing what's first, what's second, what's third, what's gonna come, so you don't have any type of surprises when you are doing the test, okay, guys? That's the most important thing for you. All right, okay? Does anyone have any questions? Any questions for me today? Any questions? Yeah, so yeah, because I have seen some people, okay, who actually they had a week to do it, and then what I do mostly with these people, I get them to see me maybe 2 times that week, even 3, just so we can do the whole test, okay? And sometimes it's people, they need a lower score and they can get like a 5 or a 6, but if they need a higher score, then of course we spend more time, okay? But if you're doing the IELTS next week, the most important thing I would say to you is do some practice, okay? So I think I'll be back maybe on Thursday to have another chat with you guys. So keep an eye on YouTube, on Instagram, on your emails, okay? And then I will be sending out to you what the next topic will be, all right? So I'll see you next time, all right? Bye.